Yeah, good.
Let's give Miles a little more water if we can, please. Cam and Miles, thanks for joining us here. Congratulations on last night's win. If we could, open up the floor to some questions here, right here in the middle.
Dustin Schutte, Sports Illustrated Purdue. Miles, you had a dunk yesterday that went viral. Just wanting to know if you had a chance to see some of the responses on social media, if you got any special text message, anything like that from that play yesterday.
I did get a chance to look at it. It was a really nice play. I haven't really, fed into it a lot. Obviously we're trying to prepare for McNeese tomorrow, so I think it's, it was a good play. Just going out there and doing my job. Getting those offensive rebounds that we did. I think we did a really good job of doing that whole game. So I think it was just a play that, followed up by, a really good play by me, and Cam had a really nice play right after that. So I think that was really big for us.
Thank you. Anything else? Right in front.
Robert Listell, Racketeer.org. For both of you guys, this year has been more playing time, more scoring, more development for you guys. What has kind of clicked for both of you this season, and how have you kind of seen yourselves grow throughout the year?
I would just say it's really staying ready. Obviously, when you kind of have a role that, you can play a lot of minutes one night, not so many the next night, you might take no shots in a game, or you might be shooting the ball quite a bit. I think it's just the preparation that goes into each and every game, each and every practice, and obviously putting in as much time as you can outside of our scheduled practice times to stay ready for moments, and when your name's called, just going out and performing.
Yeah, I would have to agree with Cam says. Just preparation, really. That's a really big part of all of it. Not just the physical, getting extra shots up and running through plays and sets and stuff like that, but I think it's also more the mental. Like you said, we're not gonna know how many minutes we're gonna play that night, so go out there and just try to produce as much as we can with the minutes that we have. And I think this year we've done really good with that, and just becoming more comfortable within the offense and the defense of the schemes that we have. So I think that's really huge, that we've started to learn and grow and made a big leap from last year to this year.
Thanks, guys. Right here in the middle.
Tom Bruce, Sports Illustrated, Purdue. Most of your Big Ten season, guys, was for both of you. Your games were spaced out pretty much by 3 days, and here in the NCAA tournament setup, you played Thursday, play again tomorrow. What's the biggest challenge of that quick turnaround, and how quickly you can learn about your next opponent in McNeese?
I honestly don't think it's that much of a challenge for us, because we've been through a lot of situations like this already in the past couple of years. For both of us, going to Maui, going to the Raleigh Invitation in San Diego. So I think that's really huge for us to be able to be in those situations before the Big Ten tournament and the NCAA tournament, to just prepare us for those quick turnarounds and playing elite teams that we haven't seen or probably won't play during the season, and just seeing different offense and defenses. So I think that's really huge for us.
Yeah, adding on to that, I would just say, a lot of it's just mental preparation. When you don't get enough, or I guess, kind of the same time you would get for a normal scout, on these quick back-to-back games, or, one day in between games, you really just have to prepare mentally. Walkthroughs at the hotel, watching a lot of film, just kind of getting as much time as you can to spend mentally preparing, because, we don't have a lot of time to physically prepare for them.
Thanks, guys. With Chris here in front.
Chris Gasper, Boston Globe. This question is for Miles. Have you gotten to experience any of the love that your dad gets in this area, being a former New England Patriot? And do you have any memories of his career, or have you only seen it on tape?
I haven't really got to experience a lot of it. I haven't really, been able to, get out and walk around. But I don't really remember a lot of his career, because I was around 3 or 4. So the soonest I really remember is when I moved to Indianapolis. So I think that's really where I started to, get a lot of my memories as a young kid. And I've seen a lot of tapes and stuff like that of him playing, but I definitely wish I could have had the opportunity to remember that and experience that stuff.
Who's the better athlete?
I had to go with myself. Always betting yourself, but he was a really good athlete. I'm definitely more athletic. I can jump higher. I'm probably definitely a little faster. Definitely. So yeah.
Right here in the middle.
Hey guys, Ralph Russo from The Athletic. You talked about this short turnaround. They McNeese threw. It looked like a lot of defense. I guess that's a good way to put it, right? They just threw a lot at Clemson. With that said, on a short turnaround, How do you guys process that? Do you draw on something you've seen in the Big Ten or in another opponent? What's the process of preparing for a lot of defense on a short turnaround?
I mean, we run a lot of different plays. They can kind of go against a lot of different defenses. So for us, it's really just knowing what we want to run, what they're going to do defensively and different things that we need to do offensively. And it helps when everyone's on the same page. That's one thing that we've, challenged ourselves is making sure everyone's on the same page, everyone knows what they're doing their job before and after a shot goes up. Because there's a lot of different things that can go wrong, especially if one person's not doing their job. So kind of preparing for a team that has a lot of different defenses, it just kind of goes to, our coaches and how smart they are and the game plan that they put together for us offensively.
To add on to that, I would say, everything he said was correct and spot on. So, I think it's also due to, us being able to play different teams and different styles of play, defensively and offensively, leading up to this point. And I think we've seen a lot of different teams. We've played, low major teams where they've been quicker, faster, and can get into the ball and disrupt our offense. And we've also been against teams that are, bigger, stronger. So I think it's just also a preparation, like we said, being in situations where we can have those quick turnarounds, but also, playing those teams where we're not used to playing them during the season in the Big Ten play. And I think that's really, helped us, along the way.
Thanks, guys. Back right here.
Kevin Moore, WJR here in Providence. As you guys mentally prepare, have you talked to your student managers at all, preparing for the most viral student manager in the country, Amir Khan?
I think the team we've seen him on our social media, but it's really cool for him to have that NIL deal and all that stuff. But I think we're really focused on just getting the job done and winning the game.
I agree with that.
Anything else out there for you guys? If there's nothing else, you fellas can head back to the locker room. Thank you. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.